Good morning, watch nerds. Now I've heard the brand pronounced Maen, and Maen. I'm sticking with Maen, but I may be wrong. Now Maen are a Swedish-based micro brand owned by a couple of Dutch blokes who have an interest in New York, but the watches are made in Switzerland. My word, how diverse. In actual fact, the model name Greenwich has nothing to do with the Greenwich in the abbreviation GMT. It's the Greenwich in New York. Now there have been a few reviews done on this watch, so if you want to watch a decent one, just spend 10 minutes watching this rubbish, then watch one of the others. I should mention, this watch is no longer in production, but it does come up from time to time on the second-hand market, so it's worth knowing about. I recently sold a Victorinox infantry watch to a friend of mine. It was a lovely watch with a great movement and great dimensions, but for some odd reason I never got to connect with it. But I've no doubts I'm going to end up regretting flipping that. With some of the money I bought an ex-display and unworn rotary Les Originals Verbia for a very reasonable price. Unfortunately the self-winding rotor got stuck and I had to return it. That meant I had an empty slot in the watch box, and we all know what a sin that is. I had been watching this one on eBay for a while, and I'd even made an unsuccessful offer 10 days or so earlier. The reality is that things are tight at the moment, and it's a buyer's market, especially for microbands. Anyway, enough of this waffling, and on with the review. And welcome to my unpaid and unsponsored review of the Maen Greenwich GMT. On with the dimensions. Now in my opinion this is the ideal size sports watch, and its compact dimensions will fit wrist from about 6.5 inches right through to 8.5 inches. The case is 38mm, the lug width is 20mm, the depth is 12.5mm, and the lug to lug is 46mm. Now on this rubber strap it weighs about 76 grams. I would say the watch wears to size. And here's the box. It's all quite premium, and inside is the watch holder, which is very similar to the one you get with the Smith's Time Factors watch. In the drawer at the bottom, here's a thank you card, a spare Tropic strap, which we'll get to in a little while, a card here telling you can download the instructions from the internet. Another one here which just informs you it's 1 out of 300. And finally, the certificate of authenticity, also telling you that the movement's been regulated. And this is my watch of the day. It's the second hour Mandala. And that's Amy enjoying the sun. The oversized crown measures about 7mm, is nicely signed and well knurled. It also screws down to help the watch's 100 metres claim water resistance. By the way, each watch is pressure tested during the QC process. The crown engages beautifully and is buttery smooth. The movement is the Swisstech S24-045, which is a Swiss-made clone of the ETA 2893-2. I haven't had any experiences of this particular movement, but if it's like any of the other ETA clones, it will be accurate and reliable. Now it ticks away at 28,800 beats per hour, it hacks and it hand winds, and it's got a power reserve of about 40 hours. Now to adjust the GMT hand, you simply pull the crown out to the second position and turn it anti-clockwise. Then turn it clockwise for the quick set date. Now Maen claim they regulate each watch before leaving the factory. Now over a period of 24 hours, this watch only gained 1 second a day. But let's see what the time grapher thinks of it. Well, you don't get much better than that. A beat error of 0, an excellent amplitude, and it's reading plus 3 seconds a day. Absolutely fantastic. The crystal is double dome sapphire with AR coating applied to the underside. Now the fixed bezel is stepped, with the first step being polished and the second step being brushed. Now the tops of the lugs are vertically brushed, but Maen decided to polish the sides. Now I would have preferred brushed sides, but that's just personal taste. There is a nice polished chamfer where it transitions from the side to the top. I should also mention there are drilled lugs for easy strap changes. It's very nicely shaped and it fits my 17cm wrist very well. Now the case back is very plain and it just reads 1 of 300. It can be opened with either a traditional case back opener or one of those Rolex type ones. Well, the dial for me has got the wow factor. As a matter of interest, this watch also came with a flat ceramic dial and also came with different coloured indices. Without doubt, this waffled ceramic dial with these oversized indices would have always been my choice. In certain lights, this dial may actually appear to be dark blue, but that's got something to do with the AR coating, as in actual fact it's definitely black. There is an unframed date window at the 3 o'clock. At the top, under the 12, it simply reads Maen in a font I particularly like, and above the 6 o'clock it reads Greenwich 38 Automatic GMT. Now in a tiny font either side of the 6 index, it reads Swiss made. The 24-hour GMT markers are in a small font printed on the outer part of the dial. The large indices, skyscraper minute and hour hands, as well as the lollipop second hand and arrow GMT hand are filled with grade 1 C3 superluminova, and despite at least one other reviewer saying he didn't think the lume was very good, I awoke 5 hours after charging it and it was still glowing nicely and still very legible. The arrow GMT hand with the waffle dial comes in white, whilst if you have the plain dial, the arrow hand is actually orange. I would have preferred the orange hand with this dial, but it's not the end of the world. Anyway, let's have a look at that lume. So let's talk straps. Well, it actually came with 2 straps. This is a spare one. It's a nice quality tropic style strap. Only problem with this one is the gap between the holes is quite long, so getting a good fit may be a tad difficult. The one I'll be wearing it on though is the one it was delivered on, and this is a fitted rubber strap. It's extremely comfortable, but it's the type you have to cut down, so once it's cut down you can't make it larger again, unfortunately. It's got this butterfly type clasp, which I think is quite a nice quality, and it's signed. The only thing I would say is I'm a little bit confused why the second strap is rubber. I would have thought maybe they would have supplied a leather or maybe even a sailcloth. When first released, these started life at about €635, then finished up at €795. On top of that, you may have to build in duty, which in reality could mean that you could pay anything up to £900. However, you probably wouldn't have, and I doubt anybody actually paid more than about £800, and that's to get it to their door. Now, I purchased this very good used one from an eBay seller for a little over half that. The question is it worth the money? Well, a Swiss made GMT watch with a Swiss movement for that sort of money is actually very good. The watch wasn't new when I bought it, so QC issues aren't really relevant, I suppose. Like any watch though, there are things I would change if I owned a magic wand, but not many. I think if they're going to give you one rubber strap, I believe the second one should either be leather or sailcloth. I also think the caseback needs to be as special as the rest of the watch, but it isn't. Engraving 1 of 300 is just lazy, and I would have liked to have seen some nice etching or engraving, perhaps with a New York scene. Fortunately, these 2 things are fairly minor, and this really is a stunning watch. The overall quality is excellent, the dial and aesthetics fantastic, the fit and finish are almost perfect, and it's got a quality Swiss made GMT movement that runs with incredible accuracy. In summary, this is a watch I'm very pleased to own, especially as I'm going through a phase where I want a 4th hand on all my watches. In fact, this is now my 4th GMT. Okay, I know this watch is no longer in production, but from time to time these do come up on the used market, and 90% of the time they're going to be looking like new. So would I recommend it? Of course I would. It's bloody gorgeous, and I'm pretty certain this one's a keeper. Now that brings me to the end of this review, so if you've enjoyed it, please click on the like button. Leave your comments below. If you haven't subscribed, please do so, and enjoy the rest of your day.